Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. We're on part 6 of the Mandalorian is Born Mandalorian armor build, working on armor. All different forms of armor. This is the Palm Guard, 3D printed, and I think they're a little bit small. They feel small. I'm having trouble with some of my pieces feeling right, but when you're working on them individually and not together, it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes you can't tell what's what until you get stuff put together all in one. But individually, I may just be overthinking it. But what I did with when this was printed, let's see, it's hard to see. Okay, so it printed vertically, so the lines are going this way, and for some reason, well, my assumption is by the time we got to the top, when it was printing back and forth, it was wiggling, and so we have some. I don't know. The lines aren't straight up and down. There's some wavering there. And the old me would have been like, you got to get in there and you got to fix that. But we're talking about building the Mandalorian to the point where he's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect armor. It's going to look a little bit tattered and haphazard. So I'm going to leave it. The thing about it is once I put some plasti dip or some paint on there and then some thicker paint, some of those imperfections went away. What did it come out looking like? There you go. I'm fairly happy with these. The gloves are just $5 gloves from Harbor Freight, and I took off some of the markings. You can still see some logos here. I tried to paint over that. That paint's not drying for some reason. It's been on there for like 2 days. We'll figure that out. But did some painting, did some marking on there, and I think these came out pretty well. I tried to make them a little bit bigger. I tried than this. I'll try it for a little while, and if that doesn't work for me, if they still look too small, I'm going to try and reprint them one at a time, maybe 10 or 20% bigger. I used the same process on these as I did for my foam armor. Two-sided Velcro. It works great. The contact cement works great on this side. On the fabric, you got to find that balance of not putting too much on there to where it's just going to soak through, and it's not going to stay on the surface and adhere, and not getting enough on there. But with the Velcro, you can adjust it where you want on there, and they'll typically stay on there. This is the way I have on my clone trooper. I'm happy with these. We're going to move on to the foam armor, which in and of itself is its own challenges. You'll see. Okay, so this is the old belly plate, and this is the new belly plate. I felt this one was just a little bit too small, so you can see the difference in size. A little bit taller, and that helped out a lot. The other thing that was a kind of an issue is the chest piece. Now I think these are right, but I wasn't sure. I thought they might need to be a little bit bigger, but when I laid them out on the flat on the thing, they seemed to look to be the right shape. Thing you got to remember when shaping these, this is the left side. You're contouring it to your body, and so just trying to think how this is. So it's got to go this way, but it's also got to go this way, but it's also got to go that way. So honestly, I don't know. So I think that's okay. It seems to follow the contours the way it should. So now we got to make this one look like this one, and then everything will be shaped. We'll be ready to possibly do a test fit so we can figure out how to adhere it to the fabric. Cutting foam is, it's not hard. It's not a hard thing to do. I think actually coming up with your pattern design is a lot harder to do than the actual cutting of foam. And once you get it cut out, so this is my new belly pan. I've already started putting my backing it with Velcro, and I wanted to, it looked a little bit plain to me, and so I decided to put a bevel on there and give it a little bit more character. I think that's what it needs. I could always cut some lines in here, some designs onto this, and then when you heat it with the heat gun, it pulls the material back away from that line, and you get a little valley, a little line in there, and you can add all kinds of detail that way. The building stuff is great. It's good to be able to have your stuff to where you can work on it and then set it down. And that's what I did. I worked on this little bit, and then I set it down. And then so I was working on the Velcro part. Oh, well, let's go on ahead, and what I'm doing is I'm taking, like I said, the drill bit and the drill, and making my groove there so I can attach the Velcro to it. And there's piece 1 and piece 2, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go find piece 3. Can't find piece 3. Can't find it anywhere. I found it. Sure did. Cat got it. Yep, I mean, got it cut, got it formed, ready to go. Cat. I mean, building with cats, life with cats. Yeah, cat for everywhere, and I knew this. I knew Pip likes chewing on foam, especially when he can't go outside. He just, so we got to cut another one. This one, we're going to prep it. Now, the upside is, on this one, I cut it, I formed it, then I started working the back, and now that I've decided to cut the 45, I'm going to have to try and kind of flatten it out to do the 45. This one, I've already started working taking the material off for attaching the Velcro, but before I form it, I'm going to go on ahead and cut my 45. So this is going to be fairly the easiest one to cut because it's already flat. I'm still not calling this a happy accident. I'm just not. Just, ugh. Let's go cut some bevels on this and see what it comes out with. See how we look. Okay, here we are. And my lovely wife helped me. This is how I'm doing it. Once I get my piece cut out, it's formed, it's shaped, and everything. I'm using the center line of where the fabric folds to figure out where to place these. Place it where I need it. She uses the marking pencil, marks the line. Alright, so now I get my Velcro pieces. I glue them on the back of here with the contact cement. The hook side, the loop side's going to go on here, matching, and then there you go. These parts I'm okay with. Oh, I also had her go ahead and mark the center for the iron heart, so I can. That's one less thing I have to do. So I can just pop that on there. I am not happy. This part I'm happy with. It's here and here that I'm not happy with. It just does not look right. It needs something. I don't know if I need to cut my corners off. I don't know. I don't know. It's just not working for me. We got to figure something, because it just feels like a big. I need something to break this up. So we'll figure it out. But as far as the layout is concerned, I think it's okay. So the next step is to Velcro, place, paint. And this has already been painted. I'm going to have to come up with a design for this. Let's figure that out. So on to the next. This is what we came up with on the design-wise. Not my strong suit, but this is what we got. Took a piece of paper, did a rough drawing of the shape of the belly armor. Trying to figure out what I needed to do to break it up. Decided I knew I wanted to do it in 2 halves, and I had the iron heart, and I wanted to kind of have that mimic of here and here, and then the one lower would be bigger. So I started with the center line and started with that because I needed to start with something. Then I remembered watching a deal with Adam Savage, and he was talking about doing things, building ships, the Star Warsy or whatever, and I remember that pretty much everything they do is cut on an angle. There are always angles. There's no straight 90-degree corners, and so using that as a guide, I just put more 45s in or more angles in where there was a 90-degree, and I came up with the shape I had. Then I took a piece of paper and drew it out on the piece of paper as best I could, cut it out as a pattern, and then cut that into foam and used it as a left and a right. That's what I used to make my patterns. I plasti dipped it and we're good to go. What do you think? I think it came out pretty good. Here's how I fixed this part. Like, this was like an open blank canvas, so that's where we came up with this. Here's the thing though. The back piece was silver, and I think that was the problem I was having. It was drawing my eye to the silver, so it brought attention to the corners really bad or whatever. And so when I came up with putting this on, I reversed the colors. This is a dark metallic, and then the hammered metal is this and this, and that way you're focusing more on this and the pattern here than you are on what's behind it. This is just a canvas now. So that was my thinking there. I marked this with Sharpie with R for right. I need to remember not to do that on my good side. I need to mark it on the back side because I had to put this blemish here to cover that up. And I think if you look hard enough, you can still see the R through there. I need to get a mirror because I know this isn't quite symmetrical. It's pretty close. And I don't think it will ever be perfect. But I want like this to be lined up. And I want this kind of to be even on both sides. Just to look like it's one piece of material. It was put together well. I put this on while I put the pieces on, line them up kind of laying down, then I put it on. I had to put this piece on last, and I think I'm probably always going to have to put this on last. The biggest problem I'm finding is when this is on, it is really hard to get to the snaps on the side to get that snapped. I mean, they will snap. It's just trying to get my arms and everything over there to do it is pretty tough. But what do we have left? We have, okay. We've got the codpiece. Step back enough, which is probably going to go under there. Something like that. I'll figure it. Hold on. Yeah, so that's going to go on somewhere like in that neighborhood. Yep, so that'll be that. And then we still have to do the iron heart, which I've got a piece of foam cut out. And that'll be that, but I have a 3D printed one. Here's my 3D printed iron heart. I haven't decided whether I'm just going to put it there like that, or I'm going to put it on this raised bit of foam and then put it there. And it still needs to be painted as well. So the next bit of adjustment we need to figure out how to get my shoulder pieces on, which that should be fairly simple. I say that, but yeah, that should be fairly simple to do because we just need to put something like there and then attach it from the inside, and most likely it'll be Velcro as well, so I can just kind of slap it on and it'll move with my arm. So I decide where I want to put it. How far down the arm does it need to be? Or does it need to be way up there? Yeah, see, that looks kind of stupid. So, yeah, we need to be about there. Okay. Sit you there. I know you want me to do it. I know you want me to do it. Nope, I'm gonna do it. You're gonna wait. Well, there you have it. I decided to go on ahead and glue the iron heart onto the fabric. That way I would always have, these are all Velcroed on. If that's glued on, it's always going to stay in that position. So if I have to take these off for repairs or I have to rebuild them, I'll always know where my center is. So there you go. I decided to wait on the shoulder bells because we were talking about the foam, and those are not made of foam, as is this thing. Don't know if I'm going to use this or not. It just look kind of goofy. I don't know if it needs to be angled or whatever. We'll come back to that. We'll see once we put it all together. But until next time, it's time for you to go build something. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And tell your friends. Share it with a buddy. And we'll see you on the next one. pew 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 pew.